All right, folks. Hey, we've made it to a brand new week here. Good morning and great to see all of our members and students inside our live trading room. Got Grant, I see Kathleen, Brad, Michelle, I see James. I see a lot of us inside our live trading room right here. And great to have all of us back on social media. Popping up on the lower left, you'll see here at Cyber Trading U for all of us on social media. Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works. Today is not Tuesday. Today is Monday. We got our weekdays straight at least going forward, but we got our workshop this afternoon, don't we? Our weekly Traders Talk workshop, as we now conduct on Monday afternoons now, 12 o'clock Eastern. So for all of us on social media, stay tuned. Actually, our next audio broadcast will be coming up later on this afternoon at 12 p.m. We'll have the chance to go over a bunch of different trades from this morning, perhaps. But I had a couple of emails that already came in for Traders Talk. So for Grant, for Leda, for Kathleen, Barbara, all of our students here in our trading room, we're going to likely be taking a good amount of time to cover two important things this week. One of them is Bitcoin, talking about the price action going forward, heading into September, October, etc. August historically has not been a good performing month for Bitcoin, and going forward, especially in this year, in this cycle, it is going to be pretty volatile, pretty interesting. So I had an email about that. Then I had a couple of emails talking about NVDA. So, join us in our Traders Talk workshop coming up later on this afternoon, 12 o'clock Eastern time. We'll have the chance to go over Bitcoin, NVIDIA earnings coming up, but alongside that, a few other trades here. And I took a couple pre-market trades early, but I'm out at this point. I took some money, like 2 or 3 pennies on the way up here from 171. I was looking for at least a higher high, and it was taking its time. I caught this last little pop right before the meeting started here. But really the other one, PWM, I was a lot more focused on this stock going into the 8 o'clock move, going into the 8:30 move at this point. And it was pushing above big volume level, pretty similar actually, likewise with the RR trade. And it just couldn't get the job done. I mean, even if it does, as we go through this meeting, everyone has their own cup of tea, their own cup of coffee in the morning, or even an energy drink here, breaking my own personal rule today, but I'll get back on the coffee tomorrow. But just to say, hey, this stock was not really making that type of big move shortly after. It's holding over its level right now, and it has been ultimately here off of 164, 165. But we even talked about this in our phase 2 class just last week on Friday. In pre-market trading, at least, you can't set a real stop order, right? Everyone here knows you can't use a stop order in the pre-market hours. So last thing I wanted to have happen was to be in this trade, start flapping my gums here, going through a whole list of other trades, and then to have it crash right back down. That's kind of poor management on my part. So I got out. I took a few pennies, like 2 cents on the first half and like 3 cents on the second half. I scaled out, and at this point, if it keeps going up, that's fine. I'll root it on. But what we'll do is recap a couple of trades we ended up calling out and trading from last week, especially from the end of last week on Friday. Then we'll really scan through and go from top to bottom. So GDC, just want to talk about this one to begin. This is more of a high flyer, kind of a pop and drop type of move. Back from earlier in the week, last week, ended up running up pretty nicely, at least from 2 up towards just about 5, nearly 6 at this point. That's by 3 o'clock in the afternoon this day on the 21st. And then, just over time, ended up finding bounces, finding little pops here and there. But the issue is on this type of stock, and, we often see this here inside our live trading room, for lower float stocks, for stocks that trade low volume day to day, more often than not, at least, you're going to typically see these stocks crash back down rather fast, rather hard. So that's what we train you to react towards, right? So you want to be taking the money and running sooner rather than later. We're not trying to be perfect with the exit as much as we're trying to be pristine with the entry. So, it ended up having a couple of nice moves up, but we're done with this trade now. I guess it's up like 1.6% today, but it's going nowhere. This stock now at this point is done. So we had the GDC trade at least. STAF was more just a quick little pop. Yeah, from Thursday's trading, it was a pre-market move early, then ended up leading to a little pop up, but same fate, ended up coming right back down. The SQNS was from Friday. Peloton, that's the one I wanted to really jump towards. PTON, this was a beast. So ended up coming out with earnings on Thursday morning and just continued to push up. And then on Friday, another slingshot where we were able to capitalize. This will eventually pull back down pretty fast. It's been suffering a pretty significant downtrend for a little while now, right? Just since basically COVID ended. And then from there, just hasn't really found its groove. So is it possible for this to keep going up first before a drop? We'll look at it this morning. It's up 1%. It's trending up a little bit, a little spotty. The thought is there. The breakout off of 5, the flipping from 5 resistance into support is possible. I'll come back to this trade by the end of this meeting if you want me to. It has good liquidity, has a good tight spread during the regular hours, good iceberg orders out there normally. So I could definitely put this back on our list. Just I want to really scan and go from top to bottom otherwise, though. Again, FFIE, just last one here from last week, ended up having a great move. I think it was even from Wednesday's trading. This was the better of the 2 days even. Ended up having a phenomenal run shortly after the market opened up. Broke above pre-market resistance here off of like 375, 380. Run, right? Easy to say. Easy to say after the fact, but ended up running all the way up steadily as well, up towards 850, and even had a little bounce heading into the afternoon. Broke out even more heading into the pre-market hours the next day. But, again, this is not Peloton. This is not a high volume, high liquidity stock. This is a low float, low volume stock, and ended up coming right back down. So, this was kind of like a GDC, kind of like a staff trade. We're not going to be as into this stock going into the morning today. At least it's not proving itself out to be a great trade today. Maybe at some point, maybe tomorrow, next week, whatever it may be. But if it's trending down, if it's making lower highs, last thing that you want to do is assume. Hey, if there's a company like NVDA, obviously, and even if you're wrong, so be it, because this stock has obviously proven itself, not just within its chart and its stock price, but as a company, right? As a well-respected, reputable NASDAQ 100, S&P 100, whatever company. And you could say that with a bunch of mega large caps, but there's a fine difference between a swing trade and a day trade. And the difference you should know at least before you press the buy button, right? So obviously Apple, Amazon, hey, if you see a stock end up making a test of support, you could have better thoughts of a bounce because at least this stock, if anything, compared to an FFIE or a GDC, I don't think any of us, at least here, know the first thing about these companies. So I have no faith, no trust in them ultimately. Now, what we'll do is scan from top to bottom now, though. Again, we had the PWM from earlier. Kind of a lackluster morning. Again, we're kind of in the pits here. Really the dog days of summer. It's the week before Labor Day. Technically, we were single digits until the greatest day of the calendar year. At least that's my humble opinion. But nonetheless, with saying that, I'm not really expecting much today. We talk about opening up the imaginary blinds, opening up the curtain to see the weather outside in the morning. Right now, the weather outside in this stock market is a little murky, a little cloudy, a little rainy out. I wouldn't be walking outside and bathing in a bathing suit and board shorts, a tank top, at least so far this morning, meaning I wouldn't be too happy about what we're seeing here. So we'll go from top to bottom. I'm optimistic throughout the entire day, but going into the initial parts of this morning, hey, we'll see what we can get. MRM, had a little pop here at 6 o'clock in the morning, but it's been dead since. Could I put it on our list in hopes of a move up? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the shiny object in the room still. It's, up the most percentage-wise. Doesn't hurt us. You could say the same on PWM. Let me just actually break open Benzinga Pro. So we had the MRM trade and then PWM. I just want to take a look to see what the news is. I haven't even checked myself. So that's how slow it is this morning. I'm a little ignorant to the news this morning. So MRM shares trading higher after the company announced its subsidiary, blah, 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 Labs, formed a capital and business alliance. All right, that sounds interesting. I don't know too much about that, obviously, but otherwise, PWM, Prestige Wealth shares trading higher after the company announced that it entered into a definitive acquisition agreement to purchase all shares of SPW Global. They are not publicly listed, though, SPW. So they're buying a private company, I believe. Normally, with a buyout, typically the company that is purchasing the other company drops off just because it's an expense. Interesting to see they had a nice pop going into the morning here. Again, I'll put it on our list in hopes of a move up, but a lot of what you get is what you're seeing here on assist, or asset here, ASST. This is what I was talking about the other day, just where for anyone that just jumps into a trade because the stock is moving up, it's a pure gamble. Try doing that 100 times over and come back to me. Maybe you could have scalped it here, but it's not good strategy. It doesn't really provide much intelligible thought of support resistance, where we could see higher lows, where we can possibly get a breakout later on. So I have no problem missing out on that type of wacky move, and that's it. The Mira trade, hold a cup of water while meeting that. The Mira trade, same deal. I mean, it's kind of making higher low here. Thought of a possible push back up. Doesn't hurt for us to put it on our list. We got MRM, PWM, Mira. Nothing really too impressive this morning, though. UBXG, I'm passing. This thing's disgusting. So, that was the one that dropped off like 85% last week. It's still down big. Not expecting much on that. The RR trade, again, it's like just kind of okay looking, maybe, possibly, hopefully. SEDG, I just skipped over the INDO there, but SEDG, Solar Edge Tech, little pop. I like the move. I like the chart, that's for sure, but the order book, nothing too impressive there. Same here with INDO. It's up a little bit this morning, up 12%. I like this stock just for the sole reason that we have done well on it recently. Back in April, back in early August, ended up having a couple of flash pops. Is it possible we can catch another day trade again today? Yes, it is. So, you know what? I'll put it on our list in terms of the hope for a move up. But even with saying that, like, this isn't the best that we've seen the stock trade. So even if there is news that came out this morning, which again, newsman Levitan, I'll check again, but otherwise, it's not really the best we've seen it trade. So they're halted last week for some point, or even a couple weeks ago. That is, there's no news out on it since the 15th. So, more hopeful than anything. We'll keep it on our list, though. RDHL, LIXT, yeah, garbage. XPEV, not doing it for me there. Redfin was a good trade last week. RDFN, wow, I forgot to recap this one. Redfin, maybe it just wasn't up as much as compared to the others, but this was a phenomenal move. Day over day, nearly like the whole way through, had like one little day of consolidation, right? And once it busted above that top, 975, then the high from the day before, effectively just complete run up again, right? So Redfin, beautiful run up here, as well as Zillow, if not mistaken. Z, a little more expensive, obviously, but just kind of those two go in tandem together. We're going to focus more on the RDFN trade. So I'll add this back to our list. It's trending up a little bit here. It's still holding strong. I just, I wish it was trading more volume. I wish the order book was better. I'm sure this will fill in, though, by the time the market, opens. At least it's proven to do that, at least for us. So I'll put this on our list for that reason. It's been a strong trade. All right. So, we got a list so far. We got a watch list here, folks, but it's not like the most impressive thing that we pumped out. So let's go to the loser side here, see if there's anything looking just as good as a short. So far, not really. JD, actually, well, I'll tell you what, always catch myself, Josh. JD, yeah, that's a nice short. That's a nice drop off, at least. I know they reported earnings a week ago or 2 weeks ago, so I don't know what the news is out this morning, but oh, it's in sympathy. Okay, so that I guess is why I didn't really realize. I knew both were Chinese, based companies, but I don't know if they're in the same business, the same sector at least. JD.com and Pinduoduo, PDD. So PDD is more expensive. They got smashed this morning off of earnings. We put that out there in the trading room early, just saying, it's expensive, but it got crushed. I didn't know if JD is in the same business, the same company. I know, again, they're both Chinese-based equities. So PDD took a huge hit, and they're a very large-based Chinese company. So I don't know if it's the same thing as seeing NVDA, down 19% off of earnings, but it's something similar in relation to a very large cap company doing that. So, JD down with PDD at least. We'll add both. Billy likely down with PDD. Yin China ETF there. Wow. So really, does PDD have that much pull? Well, let's just see what else we got here, folks. From Matthew, from Leda, Lawrence, Margaret, John, from Ray, all of us here in our trading room. Let me know if there's anything else that you see that's looking good for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works, at Cyber Trading U. Let me know as well. And stay tuned, folks. We got our Traders Talk workshop lined up this afternoon, 12 o'clock Eastern time. All of us in our trading room. You don't need to go anywhere. Just stay right there, and we'll start up right going into the market open, at least. We got a full slate ahead here for you. But, for all of us on social media, just join us later on this afternoon, and we'll be back for Traders Talk. But last call. Let me know if anything else is looking good, folks. I think at this point here, we said that we were going to kind of put one stock, I think it was the Peloton trade for right now, back on our list. I said I'd come back to that, right? I'll add Peloton. Peloton there. A couple side list stocks maybe to keep an eye on. Definitely, we were talking about Bitcoin going into Traders Talk today. Had an email on that just about what's ahead. Keep an eye out for this Wolf stock, WULF, mining company. I know a couple of big guys out there took some positions out on Wolf. Not people like I know on like Twitter, but I think it was like Stanley Druckenmiller and someone else, some like big wig out there that a lot of people know about at least. So it's been a strong trade of late, but I think that there's going to be some other miners out there, mining companies at least, maybe an Irene out there, maybe a CLSK out there. This had pretty strong Friday at least, but just be on the lookout for a couple of those. But I like what we got here so far, folks. I mean, we're going to add Peloton, and that'll do it. At the INDO, the MRM, among others. And with that, no delay on that watch list. Always like to post the watch list right as we finish up here. Enough time to prep up your levels, so you're good to go. Have enough time for myself to prep up. It's only 9:16 here, so hey, catch us here at the market open. We'll be back on. And again, for all of us on social media, not only do we have our Traders Talk workshop today, but also if you wanted to join us inside our live trading room, scan that QR code on the top left just of the stream right there. Should take you to our live trading room, give you a week-long trial, week-long access to the full-fledged commentary that we provide and to the full-fledged chat board that you see as well. Just all of our students and members there joining us. And, we all work together here as a team. So, we like to steer the ship, steer the boat in the right, direction. I don't like saying the word ship. I went over that, right? I went over that in our live trading room. I don't like saying the word ship because it sounds like, so, SHIP, right? I got a little speech impediment here, but we try and steer the boat. And otherwise, though, we have students like Kathleen, students like Brad, students like Ravina, Barbara, Grant, Steve, Michael, a lot of us inside our live trading room have been with us for years, and they know what to look for based from our training. So although we steer the boat, hey, we all work together here as a team here, and there might be a couple call outs that you provide that I make money off of, right? That's the whole goal of CTU. It's to make call outs together and work together as a dynamic team, if anything. So we look forward to having you in our trading room either way, but for all of us there right now, we'll be back on the mic in